there. So
someone just said it's clearly after 6:30 in the comments.
Yeah, well, that's what we do here. What, you guys expect us to be on time? Because we don't do that. What's going on, guys? A little bit of hangouts. A little bit of hangouts, drinking two tree different beers with a couple two tree different guys. So I'm Matt from Massive Beer Reviews, welcoming the guys from Nerdsense and No Hype. What's going on, guys?
What's going on?
Happy Thursday.
How's it going?
It is Thursday, man. Days don't matter anymore. It's like weird.
No, not really.
Okay, so who wants to lay down the premise of what we're doing tonight? Who feels like telling everybody? Good job.
I can do that if you would like, Matt.
There you go. See?
Go ahead.
There you go.
All right. So, yeah, we had the idea. We had ideas, plural. Here's the idea we're doing. We have a few different breweries who did the all together from other half. They put out the recipe, if you don't know, and said, hey, brew this, charge about $20 a 4-pack, donate the proceeds to help hospitality workers, wait staff, bartenders, all those kinds of people. So we have... let's see, Zigmeister out of New Jersey, KCBC out of New York City, and Me Max out of Glen Falls, New York. So we have two or three different ones depending on the person. I have not had any altogether from any brewery. This is my first time trying any of them. I think I'm the only person who hasn't tried any altogether, though.
Yeah, because Mike and I have had the Spyglass one.
Okay.
I did have the Zigmeister one.
Okay.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to dive into them because, just kind of play off of what Kyle said is that, like he said, other half started this as kind of like a thing to help out restaurateurs or restaurant workers, and the whole basis was it's the same exact recipe. Now everybody's allowed to fuck with it. You know what I mean? People can like add different hops, they can do whatever, but they want you to stick as close to the base malt bill, grain bill, the whole nine, and brew it within the same reasonable means. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see what each brewery is going to take on this. So when we do these, don't think they're all supposed to be exactly the same. That's the one thing you need to realize because they're not going to be. But since they have a similar foundation, it should be interesting to see actually what happens.
Right, because if you look at the recipe, the actual recipe that they have on so the site is, if you want to get full information, it's altogether.beer. The recipe actually says this could either be a East Coast IPA or a West Coast IPA, and then they give the differences. If you're going to do West Coast, here's what your bittering schedule is going to be versus if you're going to do a New England IPA. So,
yeah, I saw a couple people do the West Coast version of it. I forget who I saw today. Like, it was actually the one I saw today that somebody did a West Coast version. It was a Midwest brewery. I forget who it was, but they're already on their second batch of it. That's how quick they went through their first one. They brewed it, they canned it, they sold it. It sold so well, they're like, we'll do another one. And they're already on to the second batch of it, which is insane if you think about it, because really this started, about a month ago, I think?
Yep. Yeah.
Well,
that's the thing too here locally is if people, sold so quickly. These local breweries, like I guess we need to brew it again. Is that a thing to brew it more than once? But you put the other half name on it. I'm not surprised. A lot of places and a lot of people are like, "Oh, cool, other half's involved. Let me get at it."
Yeah, and we talked previously about other breweries kind of jumping on with it and kind of doing different things with it. Like I assumed most people are at a $20 price point. That brewery that I can't think of right now, but saw today they were selling them at $16 a 4-pack. So it's one of those weird ones where when I do my beer reviews, I talk about price and availability because I think that matters. And this is one of the ones that is kind of like, okay, if it's $25, it's supposed to be for charity, so you shouldn't really be bitching about it anyway. And I guess that's the kind of the weird internal discussion we had on it too, which is going about the reviews, being like, are we really going to review this like a regular beer? Are we going to treat it like it's shit, it's good, stuff like that? So we might be a little bit less asshole-ish. Well, I won't be, but these guys might be a little less. These guys are never assholes, what's insane, except for Mike. So yeah, it should be fun.
Because the only thing that was donated were the labels, right? Everything else, the brewery paid for out of their own pocket, and then they're just going to donate the profits.
I don't know about the labels. I don't know if were the labels donated.
Yes, that's 100%. So
okay.
It says Blue Label Packaging will print the labels at cost. So and then they got a team to donate the actual web design too. So.
Okay. But what was I going to say? I'm kind of curious to go into it because, you know, like Zigmeister, obviously by me, you guys have been there. I like their beers. You know, KCBC is probably one of my favorite breweries. You know,
they're great.
Who got this one? Was that from you, Kyle? Or yeah. This is one of my favorite breweries in general. Now, Mean Max, I've never heard of these guys before. What are they? Who are they, Kyle?
Yeah, they're very local to me. I had them at a beer fest, if you guys remember beer fests, and it was a barrel aged beer fest, and I had a couple things from them. I don't remember because it was a barrel aged beer fest, but yeah, I've only had a couple small pours from them, so this will be my first proper beer. So I actually don't know much about them. I reached out to them a little over a week ago, and I hadn't heard back, kind of like if they tweaked the recipe or not. So I really don't know much about them, and we'll dive into it. Yeah.
Yeah, should be fun. So, any other chit chat, or you just want to dive right into them?
Other than saying when they were canned, I don't think I have anything to add. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Actually, should we talk about the recipe at all, or just kind of dive in once we get into the?
You already have it up. Do you want to talk about it, Sean?
Yeah, good call. So, they go. Well, this is going to be a lot of nerdy stuff. So they go into their water profile in Brooklyn, but for grain, it's 2-row, 81% 2-row, 15% flaked oats, and Brice carapils. Brice carapils would be 4%, and then Columbus, Mosaic, Cascade, Simcoe, and Citra.
Yeah.
Of the hops, and then there's different hopping schedules if you really want to get technical.
Yeah, it's such a weird concept. A cool concept, but a weird concept because it's like, you know, you could source those ingredients from so many different places and get so many different variants and so many different flavor profiles over. And then you go on the other end of the spectrum, you know, you give a cook all the same ingredients, you're going to get different dishes from different cooks. So it's you know, that's the beautiful thing about beer. It's not static. It's not in a vacuum, you know, and you know, depending on the system or the person or the ingredients and where they get them from, you could end up with markedly different. But you could literally tell them the exact specific recipe and ship them the ingredients, and they would all come out different. So it should be a fun little go around. Well, let's do this. Let's talk about let's go over dates on them, just so everybody knows what's going on. I will do the Zigmeister one just because that's the one that I provided. This is canned on 5/1, so we're looking about, you know, what is that, 2 weeks old. And they don't have anything else on here as far as information. You know what I mean? I think they all are 6.5%, which is probably, take that with a grain of salt because they're all probably not 6.5%. So mine was from May 1st. What about you, Kyle?
KCBC is from April 16th, so it's just under a month old. Yeah, same thing. I mean, it's the 6.5. I mean, that's on everyone's label. It's the other part that, you know, people kind of have their own control over. But,
yeah.
So this will be the oldest one of the three we have. The Mean Max one is, I just had it. Oh, it's underneath. Is from 420, so yeah, like 3 weeks old.
Better taste like weed. But actually, let me dive into the comments real quick before we actually before we go and crack them open. You know, D Nemeo chiming in saying it's clearly after 6:30, saying beer is always on time. Just kind of, you know, chapping our ass, busting our balls about not being here on time. That's Mike's fault, by the way. So complain to him. Clinton Watts saying, "What's up, guys?" Carson. So did I. But I was already here, so anyway, Carson says, "What's up?" Carson Blaylock, sends me a lot of beer mails from Florida. He's been sending me a lot of homebrew as of late, really good stuff. Ashley from Sexton Brewing, he's one of the beer tubers from Canada. He's chiming in saying, "Cheers, gents! I got a can of this from Counterpart Brewing Company in Niagara Falls." Michael Bernardo actually chimes in saying, "Magnify was the only one I could get. Pretty damn tasty. Pretty damn tasty. Pumped to hear your guys' thoughts on the others." I might crack that one on here. I got a little Magnify up in this piece, so maybe I'll open that one for funskies after we're done with these. Let's see. George Daly saying hello. Divaneo saying Mike is the truth teller. I guess he's talking about the Magnify one. Anthony Scalise, who has sent me beer, sent me homebrew. He said he's had 9 versions so far, and he has 10 more coming on Saturday. So Anthony's not fucking around. Anthony's gonna like literally get his name on a plaque somewhere for charitable donations. Michael Bernardo, how far you travel for those? Which ones you have? He's talking to Anthony. He's probably by mail. Yeah, there you go. Oh, Rob Nelson chimed in just saying other half is pretty good. They're all right. Nice for a little tiny brewery. So anyway, let's do it to it, fellas. Oh, come on, baby. Oh, God damn it. I had 3 exact glasses and I used the wrong one. Son of a bitch. Anyway. What are you, I mean, you're talking about a 6.5% basically hazy pale ale. That's what we're talking about here. You know? Yeah. Like, let's see. Try to keep these.
Oh, uh-oh. Well, maybe not. All right.
Is that the mean max you're pouring?
Yeah.
I was just thinking the same thing when I poured it. I was like, that's interesting.
Uh-oh.
No judgments yet. And I'm only pouring a little bit because I promised the wife that I'd give her some. She really liked the spyglass.
So the Mean Max one is a little bit dodgy, you guys are saying?
I mean, here's
oh, yeah, buddy. Somebody's got oxidation.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's pretty dark. And again, I want to reiterate this before we dive into this. All these things are for a good cause, so it's us having fun. We are drinking those. We actually talked about doing this last week, and then we toyed around with the idea of actually having some kind of like for charity thing while we're doing this, like some kind of link where you guys can click onto it. I got super busy, I couldn't look into it, but then I kind of thought I didn't have enough time to really process it, because if I'm ever going to do any kind of charity stuff, I like to look at where the money is actually going, because more times than not, you actually don't know where it's going and stuff like that. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do that, but if you go out and buy these beers, or just donate in general, just find it, go, or just buy local. Go to your local brewery, go to the local tap house, spend local. That's the purpose of this, for us to kind of sit around and kind of promote this, so these people can do what they need to do and get some money into people's hands that, could really use it right now. Anyway, so let's see, what do we have here? Are we all in the same sequence here? It looks like me and Sean are.
I just went in alphabetical order, but I can go whatever order.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. So which one do you want to go into first?
Zigmeister, because it's alphabetical order.
Okay. Is that just the teacher in you? Is that the teacher in you? Okay, so from a look, what do you guys think from a look?
I mean, the KCBC is the one that looks like what I thought. Like New England style IPA, that one looks the most how I envisioned the beer looking. Zigmeister's a little more orange than I was thinking.
Yeah, so the KCBC is how the Spyglass looked when Mike and I had it. They looked very much like.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then do you have any assumptions based off of the look about what you're going to get from any of these?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Well, let's hear them. Come on.
I'm going to go with a little bit of oxidation for the max. And then I'm thinking the Zigmeister may be a little bit on the maltier side, if I had to guess. Color-wise.
It's almost like a hazy West Coast color.
Yeah.
So that's
maybe a little danker. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Stone fruity. This almost looks like it could be like someone's Berliner Weiss.
Yeah, to me it looks more like a hazy Midwest IPA. I could think too hard in color. Like that kind of beer. Definitely like malty, but more like residual sweet. Usually when beers kind of get towards that color, but they aren't oxidized, and I don't think it's oxidized. I think it's more of like a residual sweet thing. And yeah, the KCBC one looks like it's going to be like super new school haze. And yeah, that Mean Max, it looks like it's going to have a little bit of wet paper going on there, maybe, sort of, whatever. So yeah, anyway, what do you want to do? You want to roll dice on which one gets sniffed first, or you just want to go from... Kyle, you pick which one we go first with. Zigmeister, you said? Alphabetical order?
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. Kyle's like, yeah, like we all knew it already. Like dude.
We've been doing this for a while and we haven't even smelled the beer, man. I'm thirsty. That's all. Sorry.
Okay. Hey, don't hate me for bringing a drinking beer. There's a little bit of, for me, there's like there's a little bit of off flavor to it. There's like a little bit of like a, it's not it's not like super butterscotchy, but it wants to get there. You know what I mean? Like a little bit, but it's definitely sweet. I'm getting citrus, but it's more like a candied, sugary citrus. It's not like a juiciness. It doesn't smell bad. Yeah. What about you, Mike? What do you think?
It doesn't have this.
You have that? Oh, it doesn't have that one? Oh, that's the one I said. Go fuck yourself, Mike. So, I'm sorry, dude. I brain farted on that one. That was my fault. Yeah.
All right, you guys want to smell? You want to drink that one then, or you guys want?
No, let's do all the noses. I like to do all the noses and then move on to the actual taste.
Mike, take the next one, Mike.
So
ACBC.
All right, let's do it.
Coming off that Zigmeister, I don't get much. I think it's because of how sweet the Zigmeister is. It might cancel off a little bit.
Oh no, this one I'm getting like citrus. I'm getting like citrus rind.
Yeah.
I'm getting some of those the yeastiness almost.
Yeah,
almost
I would
like
have
almost like fruity esters.
Yeah, and I think when Matt, when you said you weren't getting much off it, I didn't get much off it on the first sniff, and the second sniff, I think my nose kind of acclimated to coming off the Zigmeister, and then I got pretty much what Mike said is on the nose.
Yeah, a little bit of soft citrus. I get like a little bit, like Mike said, like not necessarily rindy, but an under-ripened kind of citrus thing. It's not like zesty or rindy to me. It's just not overly sweet for me.
I almost get like a vanilla-y, lactose-y sweetness to it.
It's but the sweetness is different than the Zigmeister, which is that candied orange.
Yeah, more candied than anything.
Yeah, this one has a little bit of that zest or whatever from citrus, so it's still citrusy, but it's kind of a cool comparison how when you say citrus, you almost have to be more specific because they're both orange citrusy, but in two completely different ways. They're both relatively sweet in two different ways. Yeah.
Yeah, the Zigmeister is like a refined sugar candy orange, whereas the KCBC is like a soft, powdery, undersweetened confectionery kind of sweet. Like it's not sharp, it's soft.
Confectionery. That's a good way to put what I was trying to say.
But both citrus forward. That's interesting.
Let's get a nose on this, buddy.
All right.
Anyone that wants a closer look, sort of looks like.
That smells.
Doesn't smell super bad. It just smells kind of muted. A lot of times when that stuff oxidizes, it just kind of tempers a lot of like the explosive like nose and stuff like that. So it's just kind of there. It smells a little herbally, hoppy rather than citrus, kind of like tannic tea baggy kind of stuff like that. But not anything crazy. It smells more like iced tea to me, more than soda or than beer.
I can see the tea stuff. Mike, what were you gonna say? You got what?
I'm saying I'm getting almost those tea tannins as he said, but I'm getting like just a little bit of apricot as well.
Is that what it is? There's a fruit element.
I can see
it's not
that.
the same citrus thing as the other two. It's
it's like it's got a stone fruitiness to it. I could see that.
okay.
But the big thing there is almost like an iced tea deal. I think Matt hit it right on the head.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like iced tea, and it smells 80%
Which is
iced tea.
Which is honestly, like, I mean, oxidation does that a lot to IPAs. You know, they end up coming off like more like old school, like English bitter, kind of hoppy, kind of herbally more than anything else. It's just the way I guess oxidation kind of treats the tropical fruity portion of the show when it comes to like hops and stuff like that. But yeah, it doesn't smell bad. I don't think it's gonna be a bad beer. It's just gonna be a little bit underwhelming. That's my kind of knee-jerk reaction to the nose. Who's thirsty?
All right, let's go, guys.
Cheers.
Wait,
We
Mike.
probably should have shared another one that Mike already has.
Oh yeah, that's right. But we have to go in alphabetical order because Kyle.
We have to. Sorry, Mike.
Sorry.
got a nice bittering to it.
Oh,
Not like West Coast, not West Coast bittering, but
Yeah, that's what I was. Let me see what they said about this.
it's got this like, it's got a stone fruity resininess going through the whole palate, and then it kind of bitters off rather nicely. It's almost like a amalgamation, West Coast meets East Coast in an interesting way, at least for me.
It definitely has West Coast vibes for me, but it doesn't taste like they meant it to be a West Coast. I know that sounds kind of like douchey. You know, I don't know if they actually have it written on here what they were influenced by or what they were trying to make with it. You guys go ahead. Sorry.
It very much does drink like a mix of the two, and it kind of goes with what you were saying, Matt, about the look. Like it looks like a Midwestern IPA, which I think in some ways is kind of a mix of what we think traditional West Coast and East Coast IPAs are. So it kind of looks, if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it is a duck. So it almost, yeah, it's a mix of the two things they were going for.
Yeah. See, they added. Let's see what. And this is kind of what kind of throws me off a little bit here. They said
they added ingredients.
Well, they said they put their twist on it by replacing Cascade, which I would assume there was Cascade in this, because that would have been your kind of old school hoppy bittering, because they said it's Cascade, or they replace the Cascade. It has Citrus, Simcoe, and Mosaic. I could see Simcoe leaning in this direction, but they used what's called Julius hops, which I'm not super familiar with. I assume it's, named after... let's see. It's a dreamsicle, ripe sweet orange, and peach. I just don't know where they're getting that overt bittering from, and that's why I think there is the malt, and I think there's a little bit. I don't think as bad as the what is it? Mean machine? What are they called again? Mean Max. There might be a little bit of soft oxidation that's kind of beating back a little bit of that kind of fruitiness and leaving a little bit of that kind of West Coast coming up. It's not bad by any stretch of imagination. It's just not what I expected.
Yeah. No, I actually quite like it.
No, I do enjoy it.
Yeah. It's definitely not overly sweet, which is nice, because a lot of these breweries would, every beer make everything overly sweet. So yeah, I like it. It's not bad. It's not what I expected from Zigmeister, knowing what they do.
All right, let's include Mike. Let's do the KCBC. Cheers, Mike.
Cheers.
Doesn't taste like much.
Yeah.
See, I think that's probably because of the Zigmeister one came off so much more sweet. But Mike didn't have it, so yeah. You know what? Go ahead. Sorry.
It's a little thinner than I thought it would be, actually. I don't know. Yeah, it's got a good bitterness. I mean, you're drinking an IPA, but I've done like 3 or 4 sips trying to kind of maybe fight through the previous beer, but
I get a sweetness to it, and it drinks clean.
It does drink clean.
And then it finishes with this resinous, almost not a defensive way, but like almost like a little bit of a hop burn in a very, very minuscule way on like the back of my throat.
You know what I think?
Hop burn.
You know what I think that is? And this is what I talk about, so it's a lot of people ask me what it is, and it'll be interesting to see what you guys think. This is what I talk about when I talk about carbonic acid in a beer. When I talk about when you talk about carbonic acid, it's basically when you force carbonate beer, you can actually have, there's not just CO2, there's there's differences to CO2, and some are higher in carbonic acid than others. That bittering is like a seltzer bitter. If you ever drink like straight seltzer water and it has that weird bittering thing, not like seltzer with quinine or anything like that, because that's sweetener. I'm talking like straight seltzer. It has that weird kind of off bittering. That's what's in here. That tempers like so much in beers for certain people. Like I get it in all the foam cans. I get it in Dancing Gnome cans. I get it in a bunch of specific breweries use that in their cans, and some people just don't taste it or aren't affected by it. So all the flavors that I normally get in an IPA kind of come through. For me, I'm super not. I don't want to say susceptible because it's not like kind of a unique thing, but it just I tune into it and it tends to block. It's like there's more happy goodness in there, but there's like a limiter to it, and it just can't come through. And that's the kind of vibe I'm getting from it.
Is that why foam beers are always so underwhelming to me? Everyone loves them, and I'm always so confused.
It's probably why, man. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, because and that's what I think is going on here, which is actually kind of makes sense. Only for this reason, is that I've never got this carbonic acid thing ever from KCBC. Up until last week, someone sent me a collab they did with somebody, and it was the first time I had it. It might have been an Aslan collab. And I was like, why does this taste like crazy carbonic acid? I'm like, but it's coming from KCBC on their end, so you assume they would be in charge. Maybe they're changing their carbonation and how they carbonate beers. I don't know. It's not bad. It's not an offensive beer by any stretch of the imagination. But it just has that carbonic thing that I'm just not a big fan of.
Let me amend it's 6.5%, well, somewhere in that realm, and it's a single IPA. So I shouldn't say it's a little thin because that is what this style should be actually. So let me just amend that. It's not it's not trying to be a double IPA. So it is, to be fair.
I'd argue that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had much fuller, much more vibrant beers at 5. 6.5% is a normal IPA level beer. That's 6.5 to 7.2. Okay. I don't think a 6.5% beer should sacrifice in any way. Like they can make it thin, they can make it thick, they could on purpose, but I don't think that's like, oh, that's way too small an ABV to get a nice mouthfeel. I don't think that. I would say that.
Yeah, because isn't Julius and Alter Ego are 6.7, right?
Yeah.
And those are pretty full mouthfeel.
Oh, okay.
Beer, right? So
no, that's okay.
And the beer Sean and I had from Spyglass was very soft, very full mouthfeel, very juicy, very flavorful. So
that's what I was going to ask you guys, how the Spyglass stacked up. Okay.
And that's another attribute of that carbonic acid thing. It tends to knock the mouthfeel. It's not that the mouthfeel is not full. It just has that little like soda-like carbonation to it, as opposed to beer-like carbonation, to where it's a little bit more. It's not sprightly like champagne. It's fuller in the mouth, and it kind of like pops, and it's there, but it doesn't lend itself to being like creamy or full. It's weird.
It's not watery. I guess that's where I'm struggling with this. Is it thin or not? It's not like I drink this and I'm like, oh, this is a very watery beer, so it's not that level of thin. Maybe it's the look of it. I was expecting something. I'm glad you mentioned Julius. Like that just kind of instantly clicks of what this ABV could bring. It's not that. It's not hop water. It's somewhere in, I don't know, somewhere in the middle. I do like the flavor. So far I like the Zigmeister better though.
I'm thinking, like, my thing is, at first
I'm cuvee in those bitches, and I think I'm gonna get a great beer.
I was thinking that too. I think it's like two different styles at this point. Is like it depends what you want to drink at that point, right? So that's sort of where I am. Like if I'm outside and it's really super sunny out and stuff like that, and it's summer, I'd probably go for this. But this is still more maybe your fall, springish. Well, I don't know. That's just how I kind of think when I go for my IPAs.
Okay. Before this gets too warm, let's dive into this glorious masterpiece. Cheers.
All right. Here's some nice tea, fellas.
It's not bad. It's not offensive. That's what I want to say.
There is a good amount of butterscotch, though, in the flavor. Way more than the nose.
Yeah.
You know what it tastes like to me? And this is not trying to be a dick. Again, these are all for charity beers, so we're just kind of sitting here rapping and stuff. And it just tastes like a beer I bought. It tastes like a 6.5% IPA. I bought off a shelf and I didn't look at dates.
There you go.
Like I picked it up and I went, "Oh man, this is a year old. Fuck." And then I get home and I'm like, "I'll try it anyway." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's a year old."
It's it's interesting. It comes across like it's not overly sugar, but it's a sweet, hoppy carbonated beverage. That's what it comes
Yeah.
across. And I know that sounds like I'm describing a beer, but I get some of that butterscotch sweetness Sean mentioned. I do get like hops. It is carbonated. Yeah. I remember at that beer fest, like standing at their line, trying the one, be like, I like this. And I went and got I think they had 2 beers. So like, I like those ones enough. But yeah, we've had this conversation before, and I'm glad Matt keeps mentioning like these are for charity. But like, sometimes people get excited for the crazy one-off a brewery does, and then it's like, well, yeah, but Julius, they know how to brew. Like Julius is consistently delicious just because it's a one-off. These guys have never brewed any of these beers before. These are new recipes to them, so you kind of got to keep that in mind as well.
No,
These aren't
exactly.
brew,
Like, do you know if they brew particular styles? Like, do they brew a lot of IPAs? Like, I'd be also curious to know, do they brew with these hops often? Maybe they're using.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, they had a barley wine and a stout that I had at that fest. And again, I reached out, I tried to get some information, they just didn't respond.
Right.
But you said the festival was a big barrel-aged festival, right? It was specifically skewed towards those.
Everything had to be barrel-aged. Yeah.
Well, let's put it this way. It's one of those things where it's like, I don't want to catch-22 is the bad phrase, but they chose to make it. Mm-hmm. So it's not like they were forced to make it. So if they chose to make it, they should feel comfortable. I'm sure, some brewery that only makes sours wouldn't make one of these. You know what I mean? Maybe they do a sour version, you know what I mean, or something like that. But they wouldn't try to make like a base IPA version because that's not where they land. So I assume they were comfortable enough to make it. The one thing I would say though is that butterscotch thing you guys were talking about. I think there's more in the Zigmeister than this one. I just think the Zigmeister is way more aggressive in its flavors, that it masks the butterscotch more. Whereas the other one's so relatively thin, and so much isn't there that the butterscotch comes to a head way easier.
I'm actually not getting any butterscotch in mine, but I am getting like wet cardboard.
6 and 1. Different off flavors, but yeah, definitely wet cardboard.
Yeah. I'm getting no diacetyl at all. Okay. Like, I'm getting sort of like I'm getting a little bit of pininess in the hops. I'm getting not much. It's pretty thin, and I'm sort of getting like wet cardboard. And a little bit of almost like tea tannins, and that's about it.
Going from this back to the Zigmeister, and then back again, it's interesting. So I first went from this to the Zigmeister, and then back, and I got less butterscotch in this from going from the Zigmeister. And then when I went back again, I got more coming from this. So I think you're onto something, Matt. Like that makes the other flavors are working better to cover it up in the Zigmeister than it is in the Max.
It's one of those things where it's like kind of like a bummer. Like I wanted these all to be home runs just for the sake of being whatever. But it's, again, this is us actually having a reason to sit down and talk and have fun, stuff like that. Let's put it this way. I bought the Zigmeister one. I'm infinitely happy I bought it, and I would buy it again if they still have it when I go there again. Even if it's not my favorite beer in the history of mankind, I know that it's serving a purpose and doing good things. And that's where we all land on this. It's a talking point in the conversation for us to sit here and talk about this stuff, so you guys, and honestly, we're going to go to the comments eventually. So many people are buying these kind of beers and buying into them. It's super awesome to see. That's one of the biggest bummers about this setup that we have going on, that we actually can't see. These guys, the other 3 guys, can't really see the comments unless they have another window open, which I assume they do.
I opened one up too.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where it's like, in the grand scheme of things, even if they're not epically fantastic, they're still fun.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
And for a good cause. Okay, I'm gonna cuvee some shit here. So, what? Yeah.
Are we gonna go down the gamut of what we think is? Are we gonna rank them or no? It's for charity, so maybe don't rank them.
I don't rank anything ever.
No. I'm not saying give them a score. I'm saying we don't give scores anymore either. But I'm saying, should we go?
Zigmeister and KCBC are tied for me, and the other one comes in a distant third.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. All right.
I think that's consensus across the board.
Yeah.
Even Mike didn't even have the Zigmeister, and I think he agrees. Okay.
I guess I'll do that too. Okay, cool. Let's see what happens here.
Yeah, buddy.
You gonna do all three or just the first? Like I'm just doing.
No, just the
I'm
two.
just doing digging.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where it's at.
Oh yeah.
Because you're getting that citrus. You're getting the best of both worlds on the citrus.
No, wait. They're all together.
Aww.
Here.
This reminds me more of the Spyglass than anything.
Interesting.
Because it has that fuller body. It has more like that juiciness, that in the softness that the Spyglass had. It's really interesting.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not half bad. It's more than half good.
When I had the Spyglass at Sean's in our socially distant hangout, it's very strange. I mean, that beer like blew me away. Like, completely blew me away. I was floored. I drank the whole thing like in 2 very fast gulps.
You guys did not record that though, right?
No.
Okay.
No. I just did the review with Carrie. It was more like they were out. Mike texted about picking up. What were you picking up? Something. And then I was like, and then Carrie was like, "Just don't want to hang out." So we just hung out, and I didn't like push my agenda. Yeah. Let's record videos.
You should have, man.
Wait, have you released that one yet? You said you recorded it with your wife.
Yeah, I released it the day after actually.
I probably watched. I don't remember.
I think you did actually.
I probably did. Yeah. My mind
I commented on it. No big deal.
One video Mike watched of ours and like.
I'm still up for like you guys doing like a joint beer review where you're like equally far away from the camera to where you can barely see each other, and it's just each of you yelling at each other, tasting notes from like a quarter mile away. I get this, and then you could see everybody like this big in the background.
We were gonna do it the last time Mike picked up beer, but it was downpouring that day, so I don't know. I think he's picking. I think you're swinging by to pick up beer tomorrow. Maybe if we have time, we'll see. We can do something funny.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were actually talking about Sean. You're talking about getting another set of beers all together. What from your Hardywood guy or something like that? I guess.
Yeah, hopefully maybe down some of the North Carolina stuff if they drop some more stuff. Hopefully I can get some. And then there should be a release from Trillium coming. They said they're brewing it was like 2 weeks ago, so I have to imagine it's got to be in the next week or two. I just got a delivery of Trillium this week. They used to just do every other week for my region, but now it's been the past 2 weeks straight. So hopefully when they release it, I can get a delivery. And then there's one other brewery that if they release it, I will try to get it. I can't guarantee it's going to be good, but I'll try to get it, and then I'll ship out as many as I can.
It would be nice to do a round too. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, like considering we didn't really contribute to this because the Spyglass was so limited, we only got 2 cans.
Yeah, way to leech off us, buddy. Enjoy it.
Love it.
All together, my ass.
Yeah.
I think I am going to give Mike one of the mystery beers that you.
Yeah, definitely, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking like maybe we could do the review together, like even though it's not obviously the same beer, but we could kind of like, and then I can guess what you're drinking, you can try to guess what I'm drinking.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Very complicated.
But then again, we need content, so it should be separate videos.
Yeah. Content is king. No, Matt, did you send the same 3 beers to me and Nerdsense? Are they different beers? Do you not want to tell us that information?
Like I'm gonna tell you shit.
All right, fair enough.
No, I'll tell. Actually, I'll tell. No, I'll tell you. Want to know why I'll tell you? Because you don't know if I'm lying or not. That's even better. I sent each of you 3 mystery beers. Each one of them is the same.
So all 3 are the same.
No. Yes. In some alternate dimension, all 3 are different, yet are the same at the same time.
I was just thinking logistics of like should I wait to post or have them wait to post till we know we've tried all of them first? But we can, we can coordinate that off camera. Obviously, I don't know if this is
It doesn't matter though, because if you do it and post it, they don't know it anyway.
And we couldn't coordinate it because I wouldn't want to.
Wait. But if they watch one of my videos and it's like, oh yeah, this is the one with coconut, and then they do their mystery, beer, and it's the same one. They're like, oh, there's coconut. Oh, it's got to be this X, Y.
Or maybe I put two different coconut beers in there to see. You don't fucking know. That's the thing.
Your mystery beer reviews, anyways. Like I don't even want. I get excited when I send you mystery beers because I forget what I said. Like there's been times where I forget what I sent you, and I'm watching the video. I'm like, I don't know what I said. This is gonna be great.
It's so true. Oh,
there was one day where you sent me a picture of it, and I was like, Kyle, you son of a bitch. I wanted to go in surprise.
Yeah, I remember that. You're mad. Well, like Matt did the one I sent him that I remembered sending. The other one, I don't remember what it was. So I totally get what you're saying. When Matt does his second mystery beer that I just sent, I don't remember what that beer is. So that'll be fun for me. Yeah.
I drank it last night, actually.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, I did it last night.
You nailed the first one I sent, and don't give it all away, but how'd you do this one? Did you nail it the same or no?
No, not even close.
Because the one I sent, the first one, you got basically exactly right. That was crazy.
Yeah, I did good in that one. Yeah, hit or miss. No, the other one. How do I put it? The other one, I didn't nail it, but in my brain, I can talk myself into how I got it right.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like it makes sense. Like I went basically. I don't know how to put it. Sometimes when you're doing those, you can talk yourself into something, and it's not what it is. But then, what you talk yourself into is very, very similar to the other thing. If it makes any sense, it's like yeah. I was very happy with myself with that, and I got that. Like, I want somebody else to open one of those because I got that grape bubblicious kind of weird thing from that. I've never got that from that beer before in my life, and it was like a grapiness.
I might have one more from that. It's a the video's out. You don't
Black Note 2016. Yeah.
Beer, right?
No, I don't care. Black Note 2016.
Okay. It was 2016 Black Note
nice.
Barrels. I think I have one more 2016. So if I do, I'll let you know, Matt.
Yeah. So what was it? It was 11. Did you guys didn't watch the video, Nerdsense, right?
Like 11.3.
I don't watch it. No.
Yeah, it was 11.3% bourbon barrel aged imperial stout from 2016. I guessed 11.2% bourbon barrel aged imperial stout from 2016. That's what I guessed.
It was
with great. Yeah. But then I guess there was the only thing I was off. There was a fruit addition because it had this weird grapey thing. So I said, and it might be on like grape must because it had this weird grapey flavor. But even on the package, they said there's this big fruit characteristic to it. So
wow.
Yeah.
Nice. That's impressive.
It was really because that one I remembered sending. So that one it was like, oh, he's obviously doing this beer and he's nailing it. Yeah.
Let's talk about that real quick since we're done with these beers. What's your favorite mystery beer? Do you have one mystery beer you're like, yeah, like I crushed that motherfucker? Like, is there one that you?
I have two. One of them you sent, Matt, and I crushed it and I didn't crush at the same time. The whole time I was, I'm gonna get my spices mixed up. The whole time I was talking about either oregano or basil. I'm like, I'm like doing this mystery beer. I'm like, I know this is weird to say for like the fifth time, but like I'm getting so much basil out of this, and basil's not an ingredient in beer. And then I open it up and it was oregano. It's like, oh, there's oregano. Oh, okay, I feel good about it. I might have that flipped. And then the other one, kind of like your Black Note, someone sent me, and I basically nailed it, like everything you did. I was just like, oh wow, like I freaking got everything right about that. And it was like a barrel aged specific year ABV. I'm like, oh, like there's like 4 or 5 things I said. That's exactly what it was. So yeah, those are the two that come to mind.
There's one that comes to my mind. It was an Omnipolo beer. I can't think of the name. It was the very first, I think, beer trade I did with Joe from the Beer Patrol. And Mike hated it, and I loved it. It was a coffee stout. It was some coffee stout. I forget what else was in it, but I just remember I was like, "This is great." Mike was like, "This is fucking terrible," and I was like, "Well, Joe didn't know you didn't like coffee."
No, I think he did know. He thought it was funny.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's definitely what happened.
You're right. That makes more sense. That makes 100% more sense. But no, I don't know. All the we've done so many mystery beers. Like I'm trying to think.
Didn't
Mike,
we do?
can you
So
think of
didn't
it?
we do? Someone said it was a Bigfoot. We got it right.
That
I
was
did.
Kyle.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
you
really good. Yeah,
crushed it. Yeah.
we didn't guess the year though. That would have been epic. But yeah, that was I remember that.
No, but you might have talked about age on it. But yeah.
Yeah.
The
Mystery was so fun.
the best. The best one I ever did was maybe about 2 years ago. And this is just like, there were some telltale signs of shit that I could cheat because of the bottle shape on it. I was like, the bottle was uniquely shaped in a way, but I literally named the beer. I said, "This is this beer," and I never had the beer before. I go, "I've never had this beer, but I think it's this beer," and it ended up being that fucking beer.
That's nuts.
Yeah, and it ended up being Impending Descent from Trogs, which is like burn barrel aged, whatever. But I forget what happened. It was like a week earlier. I was reading a story about it, and all these flavor notes and stuff like that. And I'm drinking it, and the guy who sent it to me was from that area, from where Trogs were. And Trogs, their barrel age program comes in 375 milliliter cork and cages and stuff like that. So I was like, is this impending? This is Impending Descent. And I opened up. I'm like, yeah, I've never had this before. So I don't know. I fucking I got lucky. It's 1000% blind luck, but I literally named a beer without having it before. I don't even know how that fucking happened. Yeah, it's awesome when you get them right, but I actually get even way more excited when I get them so wrong. Like when I'm so wrong, it makes me so happy. Yeah.
Like when Kyle did Sprang, that was like probably my favorite review I think I've ever watched on YouTube ever in my life. And you just shit all over it.
I thought we were talking about nailing them. And yeah.
When you next time you're chatting with Joe from the Beer Patrol, ask him about Paul from PA Brew News' mystery beer record. There's one beer and he did on mystery beer. I don't know if you guys know Paul from PA Brew News. He's another beer tuber. He's a really good guy. He's quite abrasive, but he's quite nice. He's awesome. His beer reviews. He just sits in literally a dark metal dungeon and listens to like Bauhaus and reviews beer. He's Paul. He's actually one of the first beer tubers I ever met. We hung out a bunch of shit like that. But I think Joe sent him some mystery beers a year or so ago, and he reviewed it. It was he did a mystery beer, and he was like, yeah, this is a mixed culture farmhouse ale, and it was Yingling Lager. And then we fuck with him to this day about it. You know what I mean? Like,
how old of a Yingling? Well, how old was the Yingling?
I don't remember. You have to ask Joe. I forget. But yeah.
3 weeks old. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Well, one thing about the mystery beers is that, like, I find out at the end just how full of shit I am. You know.
Facts.
Yeah, well, that's why
we do a beer review. You know,
Yeah.
it's the purest. This is what I taste. This is what I think it is, and
It's so it gives me anxiety.
I'm just waiting for someone to send me like a heady topper and I shit all over it, or like a Trillium. Like, it's gonna be great.
Well, that's the weird thing is like just on you mentioning heady. Somebody sent me a heady as a mystery beer. I want to say a year ago. It's right around a year ago. It had to be, and it was not heady. Like it was like I didn't guess it was heady, but I wasn't super far off. But it looked like the KCBC beer. Like, that's not how heady looks. It was like this big, juicy New England IPA thing, and that's not really what heady does. You know what I mean? That's not what it was. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, I don't know if it was just an off batch in a very cool way, but it was like I was blown away. I was like, this is awesome. I'm like, when did heady become this? Unless, like, I almost thought like someone was trolling me and like reprinted a can and did something because it was that far off. So it's like sometimes when you do a mystery beer, and that's, you know, I say this sometimes when I do them, I was like, sometimes I'm like, I'm wrong, I'm fucking wrong. Or sometimes when I'm like technically wrong, I'm like, yeah, I'm not wrong. I'm like, the shit I tasted is there. And I'm like, this beer's wrong, or something's fucked up here. Like, I'm not wrong, you know. So it's kind of trying to find that balance between that.
What's nice about doing them too is like, maybe you're doing one, you're like, oh, it's very roasty. It's obviously a roasty stout, et cetera, et cetera. Then you open up, it's like, oh, there's coffee in it. And you're like, well, yeah, I mean, I knew it was roast. I didn't think it was coffee. It's like, I wasn't wrong. I just, for
Yeah.
me, it didn't cross that threshold where I thought it was coffee, or I didn't, think it was this yeast strand or whatever. Yeah. No, yeah, they're fun to do. And again, it's the purest way to do a beer review. Mike, did you cuvee the KCBC and the Mean Mac?
No.
You gotta do it, man. You gotta do it.
I think he actually enjoys the KCPC.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just gonna drink this and just pretend the other one doesn't exist.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm gonna go run these up to my wife. I really hope
Okay.
watch this.
Well, jump in the comments real quick because we've been ignoring them like crazy. Let's see what we have going on here. Okay. Carson Blaylock chimes in talking about homebrew stuff with Anthony. And Evan Brown saying, here in Pittsburgh, I've had Hitchhiker, Dancing Gnome, and Grist House all together batches. Yeah, I mean, I've had beer from all those places. I'm a big fan of Grist House. I like Dancing Gnome, although their cans can get carbonic, like I was talking about previous. But I only had one Hitchhiker, and I think it might have been a collab, and I think I enjoyed it. Have you guys had any of those breweries?
No.
Dancing Gnome, I've had one that I liked.
Yeah, it's like a regionally hyped hazy brewery down by us, or where I used to live, I guess. Let's see. Adam Brown again follows up on that comment, saying, out of the three, I preferred the Grist House version, but all three were solid. Mike Bernardo says, do you guys know if there are breweries had to sign up or something to get on the board, or did they put the recipe out there and whomever wanted to use it could use it? Cool to see homebrewers jump on board too. I think it's a matter of it's out there. If you want to do it, you could do it. Just let us, like, because I know there's a ton of breweries that, in its, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a second wave, breweries have jumped on it. Because there was a bunch of people that jumped on the train early. Carton Brewing was like first, obviously Other Half, but a lot of people that are connected to Other Half jumped on the train first quite early. There was a second wave of like hyper local breweries, whether it be like Zigmeister or by me, there's places like Sunken Silo, which is uber tiny, like super tiny breweries are jumping on board. So I assume it's self-policed. Like if somebody actually jumped on this and did it and didn't do it right, they would just get social media shamed and fucked with so hard that I don't think they would do anything nefarious. So I think it's a matter of if you do it, you want to do it, call this company, they'll send you labels at cost, done and done. That's my guess. Do you guys, I don't know, do you have any insight into it? Did you ever look into it that deep or no?
That's my understanding as well. I know locally there was already kind of a group of breweries that were doing something hyper local. So that charity they set up, they're just dumping this money into that same charity. But yeah, I think, because the recipes are very easy. You could just steal it for sure because it's out there. But like you were saying, Matt, I think when you probably go like for the labeling or something, it might be a little bit more obvious to be accountable. Like, hey, we're using that label. Then you kind of know.
Yeah. Let's see. Sexton saying the dark one is going to be Cardboard City. Good call on that one. Clinton Watts, this is a good idea. Leslie Jones chiming in saying, hey, Alex the Beer Master. What's up, Matt and Kyle? What's going on, Alex? Made my way to Incendiary, Sean. Until you mentioned them, I didn't know they were there. Okay. What's Incendiary? Is that a brewery up by you, Mike?
I don't think so.
Maybe there's another Sean in the chat he's talking to. Because he actually, calls out Sean. S-E-A-N, Sean, though. So, Mike Bernardo say, Matt living on the edge. I had, like, my shit barely hanging off the edge of this stuff. And there's some guy named Nerdsense saying, nice, what do you think? Anyway, Clinton Watts says, great, I've been working out of a grocery store. Another guy saying, Ryan from All Hype Beer Review says, sup, Alex? Yana Yano, is that like a Oko Yono? I don't know. He showed a picture of what looks like a, like a cup from Starbucks. I don't know. And
Incendiaries from North Carolina. I think Sean's talked about this brewery in the past.
okay. Oh, when he was talking about his buddy down there by Hardywood and stuff like that. Okay.
Yes.
And De Mineo said the real question is, did Hop Butcher participate in this? I haven't heard anything from those guys. I just saw a label get created from them, so I assume you guys are going to get some beers from them soon. I don't know if you guys have that shit like set up to where you can actually see when places make labels and all that stuff. I don't know.
I don't have it, like, I hate my phone dinging all the time, so I don't have it set up. But he did mention, like, hey, we've brewed some crazy stuff recently, so expect another box.
Yeah, he didn't send it yet, but the label's been created, so we'll see. I don't think they're doing one. Mike Bernardo says...
Social media.
The what?
They haven't posted anything on social media about it.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing, so I've been kind of watching, and they have not, no.
I wondered the logistics around that as a I guess gypsy brewer. You know what I mean? Like, have I seen any gypsy breweries do it? I don't know. Dita Nemeo says the real question is, oh no, that one I just read that one. New Jersey all day from Mike Bernardo. Paul Celia says having Bolero Snort, which is a local brewery by me, a version right now, good, not great, good crusher. Pizza Man CJM chiming in, saying Bolero's was classic Bolero wackiness, weirdly bitter for any IPA. Mike Bernardo says Bolero is hit or miss sometimes, either really good or not that good at all. Pizza Man says I give them the credit for trying something wild, and it seems like they kill it with distribution all over New Jersey right now. Bolero Snort, have you guys ever had anything from those guys?
I was just going to ask where they, I assume New Jersey then, right?
They are from New Jersey. They were a gypsy brewery up until this past year, and they actually had their facility built out and done. So they're a gypsy brewer for a very long time. They are pretty much the only brewery you could get to from the Meadowlands Stadium. So if you're going to go to like football, soccer, stuff like that, which is, I think, is like a crazy smart move, because literally traffic is insane in that area when there's a football game, but there's no traffic. So you're going to be busy on football days with other people, but then you're going to have your regular customers on other days. But they do crazy distribution, but they do all kinds of wacky shit. Like their name is Bolero Snort. The name owner of the brewery, his name is Bob Olson. He basically took his name and put it in one of those online, what do they call, ambigrams?
Oh, yeah.
Maker, and it popped out Bolero Snort, and he's like, that's the name of my brewery. You know what I mean? Because it just does all the letters in his name. And then, so since it's Bolero, which has to do with bulls, like everything has bull puns. You know what I mean? Like everything is a bull pun. Like every single one of their fucking labels is a bull pun. You know what I mean? Like, and it's, yeah. They do weird shit. They made a beer where they put chicken parmesan in the beer. Like they're just fucking wacko. You know what I mean? Like, but the beers are fun. Some of them are hit or miss, but they're actually like really tasty beers, and they're super nice guys.
I've had 3 of theirs pretty early in me doing this. Someone gave me some, and that was kind of if I'm remembering correctly, hit or miss was kind of my descriptor for them. Yeah, but I'm always excited to hear how they're doing now, because they had enough hits where I was interested.
Yeah. They've gotten much more consistent when they've obviously gotten their own facility. You know, when you're brewing in the same place all the time, it helps quite a bit. So, what do you guys have coming down the chute as far as beer-related content? You guys doing anything specific, or just checking out beer reviews?
I think we're just chugging out beer reviews. I just saw Kyle did something fun that I saw last night. You did a talk with the guys from the First Sip Brew Box.
Yeah, I ran. Yeah, I think this self-quarantining stuff, more and more people are doing stuff like this. So yeah, counting today, the last 3 days, I've had like different, live stream things, whether they're in podcast format or whatever. Right. And that was cool. It's I've done unboxing for them. It's a beer box subscription, but there's no actual beer. It's all beer paraphernalia. And I'm friends with a guy on Facebook, and we talk and stuff. It was the first time we ever kind of like met, like this, and had a conversation. So that was really cool. yeah, I mean, it just to Matt's question, I mean, this is just more of this, like yeah, keep doing beer reviews and then, jump on different streams or whatever, events or whatever, and I think, we've talked about this a few times on and off camera, like what Beer Tuber Palooza is going to look like this year and all
Mhm.
that. I mean, I think for me, I'm not going to do anything radically different. It's going to be my normal beer reviews and then, beer chugs, guess the ABV on Wednesdays every once in a while, or, doing something like this every once in a while, so it's just kind of, yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, I'm not trying to set up a new, like, beer collective where I'm going to have an umbrella of, different content or, I'm not doing anything crazy like that because I'm not motivated enough to do that. Um, my big thing is if something like Netflix wants me to do a diners, drive-ins, and dives version for breweries once we're allowed to go to breweries again, I'm your man. Other than that, more of the same.
If if I'm feeling lazy when they call me first, I'll mention your name to them.
I appreciate that. I appreciate
Yeah.
The one thing after this is all over, I do want to do. I just bought a gimbal. The thing that like
Yeah,
keeps
yeah,
your
yeah.
phone steady, to kind of, because Mike and I have been making jokes about doing. So the video that we released, that like social distancing video thing we released, like what was it, a month or so ago?
Yeah.
We've been talking about doing videos like that for a while now. Not obviously not for social distancing. We were talking right before this even happened, but more like kind of like little bits, like little bit funny, like sketch bits, things like we've written a couple of scripts. So I think when this is all over, like the gimbal's going to help us do that, make it look a little bit steadier and stuff like that.
What did you get? Did you get the Mojo or whatever the hell?
No, I got the Smooth 4. So looking up reviews, and it seems
Sounds like a razor.
Yeah, and it's actually it ties right into Filmic Pro on the iPhone.
Ooh, nice.
From playing with it, it's actually pretty cool. I've just tested it around the house, but that's what I think. I don't know. That's at least where I want to go with it,
would you pay for it?
So I think it was $100.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. I didn't know if you got a killer good deal. No, I'm like always been like kind of like jonesing for a gimbal. Like I've always wanted one, and I bought like a cheap weight one, like one that's not mechanical, like that, like 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 the weighted ones, and it was fine, and I used it, but it was just like and I don't know, it just. I've read so many reviews about like you really need to spend like $250 on a gimbal. I was like, I don't know. So yeah.
This one had pretty good reviews, and like I pulled the trigger because like with this whole quarantine thing, I'm spending less money, and I was like, all right, you've been wanting this for a while. It scratches the itch. It's a new toy.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I love toys.
Yeah.
Matt, how about you? Are you ramping up the podcasts, or I know you've been maybe talking and trying to do some studio stuff.
It's actually been the opposite. I was doing it, I was ramping it up, and then I stopped doing it, man. Like I have a podcast actually in the can that I need to edit that I did before quarantine. A brewery called Last Wave out of New Jersey. I need to write them and just be like, hey man, because it's weird because it's like I've been so busy because I have to do all my regular work, and then outside of my regular work, I'm making sure everybody's connected and doing the IT portion of the show and just doing so much stuff. It's just that like when I'm done, I either want to do something like this, I want to play a video game, or I want to hang out with my dog and my wife. And I'm really purposely not doing stuff when I don't have to. So I want to get breweries on here. For those people that don't know, getting brewers to actually do things is like, it's the worst thing ever. It's so fucking hard. For some of them are cool, but yeah, it's really hard. And it's not a matter of they don't want to do it. It's just they tend to be a specific kind of mindset kind of person. You know that girl or guy in high school who was just like, whatever, I don't care, and just got by, but they always got straight A's and they were always like good looking and whatever, but they genuinely didn't give a shit, but they just kind of that's like 90% of brewers are like that. They're like, yeah, we'll do it. Cool, man, whatever. And then it's just like it never fucking happens. That's the shit I deal with when it comes to that stuff. So I just need to get motivated. Yeah. So my question is, I'm lazy. There you go.
I don't know. I get it. Well, and that was one of the questions I got asked in these other live streams is like, are you doing more because you have more free time? It's like, no, actually, I'm not, which is weird because in some ways I do have more free time, and it has not translated to like, oh, I'm going to do more beer stuff. It's more of like I'm doing the exact same thing I've always done. I mean, a few more live streams because this is fun and needed to have socialization, but yeah, I'm not like ramping up anything.
Yeah. I mean, my biggest current concern at the moment, or whatever you want to call it at the moment, is where's Keith and did he chug that brewery bottle in his head? Yeah, is he dead in a gutter somewhere, just like with a brewery bottle hanging out of his mouth? Or Keith's weird dude, man. I feel like he's watching right now and he just doesn't want to join because he feels like he's going to screw up the symmetry of 4 boxes. That's just how Keith's brain works. It's kind of like Kyle wanting to do everything in alphabetical order, like similar but different. Yeah.
So we're getting the I'm getting the feedback from the wife right now upstairs. So she asked, she's like, this is the same recipe as the Spyglass one we did, right? And I was like, yeah, except Zigmeister sub Julius House for Cascade. And she goes, that's funny. That's the one I don't like. She's like, it's good when you first take a sip, but then it leaves the weird aroma feeling in your mouth. I'm still debating if I like the Wicked Weed or the other one. So the Wicked Weed one, she means the Wicked Weed glass, was the
Pernicious?
Max. No, the Max. Well, it's just a Wicked Weed glass.
Max.
Oh! I thought she was drinking a Wicked Weed. Yeah.
So I made sure I did different glasses, and then I wrote on the list which ones were which.
Oh, I gotcha.
And then she said the other one has a little sourness to it, but not the sourness that I like, obviously. Yes, Wicked Weed for the win. Holy shit, she likes the
Mean Max one the most? Okay.
All right, then.
Video, Sean.
Carrie, get down here.
Maybe Sean messed up labeling them.
No, I definitely didn't.
there is no way to mistake which one is which, Mike.
Yeah. And I think her thing, maybe her thing for the sourness for the KCBC is the acidity thing. Like,
Does she like beer?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like she loved the spice.
No, I don't say that like in a douchey way. You know what I mean? Like my wife doesn't like beer.
And her favorite thing is like the sourest of sours you could give her. Like she loves super sour beers. She loves really juicy ideas.
Carrie goes to all the beer fest with us too.
Let me rephrase that. I actually don't want to say my wife doesn't like beer. My wife likes beer. She likes the most rarest, most expensive beer in the history of mankind. Because of course she does. You know what I mean? Like literally there's two beers she loves. She doesn't like beer at all, but the 2 beers she loves was a 2013 bourbon barrel aged Damon that she had at Hill Farmstead when it was randomly on draft. Of course, that's the one she's like, actually, I really like this beer. Can you get a case of this? I'm like, no. You're getting you could sell your glass full of that beer for like $500. And then when I did that VSOJ or whatever for the Revolution bourbon barrel aged barley wine the other day, she's like, this is delicious. I was like, of course. Yeah, because it's like the most like expensive as fuck. So she likes beer. It just has to be like aged barley wine that's worth like an arm and a leg.
I'm not one for jealousy, but you doing the VSOJ was a jealous moment for me. Yeah. And the way you described it, I'm like, that's what I want out of that beer. Yeah, that was a tough one to watch. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, that sounds exactly what I want it to sound like. Yeah, no, but the ones I have had from them are, just phenomenal.
Yeah, no. Yeah, their barrel aging program is bonkers.
No, it's awesome. Yeah. Mike, you do that cuvee yet?
I couldn't even finish any of them. I didn't even like them enough to finish them.
I put all 3 into this one. It's pretty good.
All right, I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna put whatever I have left. I'm shocked. So yeah, and I did double check with Carrie that I didn't mess up. I just sent her a picture of
Let me do that. I'm gonna do the bonus one. I'm gonna do Magnify for you guys. Yeah, we did a bonus Magnify. This comes courtesy of Mike from New Jersey. He wrote me, like a week and a half ago. He said, "Hey man, got some beers for you." I was like, "Awesome." And he ended up living like not too far away from me, so we actually met up in real life, very social distance like. Did a handoff at a local bottle shop and stuff like that. He gave me a double nickel brewing. He gave me a hazy from him. He gave me a Magnify hazy. He gave me this, and I forget the other one he gave me. We'll dive into this one and see what's that. See how much better this is than all the other ones.
It's funny, the more I keep switching off and drinking, now I'm kind of liking the one I hated first, which was the Zigmeister. I told her just to blend the Zigmeister and the KCBC.
All right, Kyle.
Oh boy. Chug it, chug it, chug it. One go. Open your throat. He takes a small sip.
Fuck this. This is
So,
gross.
actually, you were totally right. The blends are great. Okay, so she just blended them. Nice.
This is all right.
This actually is pretty good.
This is pretty all right. It's not bad.
Hold it up.
It's actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably it's not that dark. I actually kind of turn out a lot of lights now when I do these podcasting things, but it's not super dark. But it's actually somewhere in between the KCBC and the Zigmeister. Take away the sweetness from the Zigmeister. Take away the carbonic thing from KCBC, and add like a little bit more graininess to it. It's actually really nice. It tastes like a hazy old school pale ale, kind of how it tastes.
What's the date on it? How old is it?
It is. There's no date. There is no date, only
You
because
have to imagine. Yeah.
it's got to be. I can tell you what the date is right now. I can look it up on their Instagram. But the reason why there's no.
All the
Go ahead.
breweries actually have the releases that they've released so far on the actual site too, which is kind of cool.
Well, the reason why Magnify doesn't have the date on theirs is because they actually print their dates in their labels. Like they do, like I think they have in-house canning.
Oh, gotcha.
So since they print the date and the label, since the labels are provided, April 26th is the first time it shows up in their feed. On Instagram.
My birthday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, April
They
26th.
get
So
it
it can't be that old. You know what I mean? Like I got these on Saturday. This past Saturday is when I actually bumped into the guy, or we met up. So
It was released on 4/28. So actually, if you go to the altogether.beer site,
oh, they have all the releases. Okay.
you have them, all of them, and then so for anyone that wants to know, 774 breweries, 48 U.S. states, 51 countries.
Those last two states need to get on top of things. Jeez.
Tell me about it.
Probably Hawaii and Alaska.
Probably.
Probably
What
because Hawaii sucks ass and Alaska's really far.
But what about Alaska Brewing? They make some good stuff.
Anchorage.
Yeah, but I
Oh,
didn't
Two
say
Roads
Alaska
is doing.
sucks.
So Two Roads is doing one, but it says to be decided. So I imagine that'll come up here. So yeah, what I'll do is I'm gonna wait. I'll wait 2 weeks to see if any.
Have you guys seen any in distro? Like every one I saw was brewery only,
Same. Yeah.
which is what I assumed it would be. Yeah.
This was good road.
Oh, it was. Okay.
Which
Yeah.
is weird. We get them up here, and that didn't hit distro. I haven't seen that in any.
There's
Pictures.
two amazing beer stores by me. They're owned by the same people, so they got it in. And then there was at least one really nice craft beer bar that also sells cans, who also got it in. So there's at least those three places by me who got the KCBC to sell. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Makes
like
sense that they deferred it to New York at least. Is there
Yeah,
a-
I mean, and I also am the only one who lives in New York. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I gotta get out of here. It was nice talking to you guys. Thanks for the beer.
we'll see you, Mike.
Later, Mike.
Your brother.
Love you.
I know you do.
Love you too.
And I didn't mean Alaska. It was Anchorage Brewing Company, and actually Alaska is on this list. So who's not on this list is the question.
Maybe Utah. I'm trying to
There
think.
were
Of
actually two breweries. So 49 State Brewing in Anchorage also did it.
I'm gonna guess. Here's trivia. I'm gonna guess Utah and Hawaii. Those are my guesses.
Utah's a good one.
Utah. Nope. Utah has one in Salt Lake City. Temple
Oh.
Family. And,
Okay.
let's see.
North Dakota.
That's a good guess.
Hawaii. There's two in Hawaii. Oh shit.
Dakota.
Yeah.
ND is North Dakota, right? Yeah. Yep. Nope. There's 2 there.
SD.
South. SC South Dakota. Nope. 1 in there. All right. Someone needs to make a filter on this site for who hasn't done it. Who's the asshole?
I'm so interested. Like this, yeah.
I think I can
more
zoom in.
interested than I should be, perhaps.
Mississippi.
Even someone in Beijing did one.
Yeah, Great Leap, right?
Jingjiang.
Yeah.
No, sorry, Jing'e, and W in Wee Brewery.
Oh, that's weird. Oh no, the guy from Great Leap can't go home. I dated a woman. She was a journalist for like a newspaper journalist, and her friend was from the Lancaster area, and he moved to Beijing and opened a brewery. And this is years ago. It's called Great Leap, and they ended up being like one of the most prominent breweries in China. And he was in the United States when everything went down, so he can't go back to his brewery. He's like stuck in Ohio or some shit like that. Yeah. John Hall from Seal the Spear and on this other podcast actually did an interview with him.
I figured it out by looking at the map. It is Arkansas,
Arkansas,
and Idaho.
Fuck Idaho. Put potatoes in that bitch. Come on now.
Yeah, so Trillium is officially listed on here. This is to be decided. So it's probably going to be. Yeah, so I'll wait a couple weeks, and then if nothing, I'm just going to send you guys mystery beers.
Win-win.
Whatever.
I know Wormtown's releasing it too. They're releasing it soon, and they said it's going to hit limited distro, but that could be limited distro in just their general area. But we get a good amount of Wormtown. Wormtown's everywhere in Mass. Do you guys get Wormtown where you are? Probably not.
No.
Maybe? No?
No.
So they do Hoppy? No? Doesn't ring any bells?
No. Jersey's weird. We don't get shit. Probably New England wise. We get like a Lone Pine now. That's like when we get kind of up that way, Lone Pine. Other than that, there's not a ton. Pennsylvania actually pumped up that way. You know what brewery I really like when I go up to Vermont, up into like the Hill Farmstead, Stowe, Alchemist area. There's a brewery up there called Ten Bends. We just started getting Ten Bends down this way. It's like a really tiny brewery. I don't know how they're producing enough beer to get down this way, but we started getting that. Well, it's in PA, but I'm only like 3 minutes away from PA. Yeah. What was I going to say? Actually, and this actually kind of hits home for you, Sean, is that you see Night Shift's announcement yesterday?
Yeah, about Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
They're not going to do it anymore. No, yeah. It's cool that it sounds like the realty company sort of let them out of their lease, so they don't get, like, I guess they're not getting blown too hard.
But that's where they're from, Philly. Those the owners, and it was kind of cool because I love me some Night Shift. I know you guys were Night Shift homers and kind of cooled on that, but but I still really enjoy their beer, so I was pumped about it, and that's probably one of the biggest bummers when it comes to the beer world with this whole COVID thing, because it has to be all COVID based. You know what I mean? There's no way it couldn't be. Yeah. So that was a big bummer.
Because they definitely have. I joke all the time in like our group chats and whatnot, and just about how fast they've grown with like the distribution arm. But like, good for them. Like they definitely took something super small, and then they have a distribution arm where they're being awesome to all these other breweries. Like we wouldn't be getting all this stuff distroed in Massachusetts without Night Shift distribution, because they're just pulling in. Like they're pulling in. Magnify is coming down here because of that. We're getting a bunch of stuff from Maine. It's great. It really is awesome. And like the new well, they're not new anymore, but the restaurant's fantastic. They have the food truck. They're just in general doing great for the actual community.
Yeah. I gotta get going, but I wanted to say something to Sean's idea. If he can't get altogether beers, doing mystery beers. You know what might be kind of cool is, like, if you end up doing the mystery beer route, give Matt, myself, and Mike the same mystery beer, and then like we could do like the 4 of us around one. You're the evil genius. You know what the beer is, and the three of us kind of hash it out, like who can get it the closest. That might be kind of a fun live stream
I'm
idea.
just sitting here like this.
Or we could all do
No,
it.
I'm
We could all do it.
100%.
Like every one of us, we all send the other person 3 beers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that'd
like,
be pretty rad.
be a
Yeah,
cool little. Yeah. Fuck yeah, motherfucker. Yeah.
And we were saying this off camera, like we're gonna be doing this for a little while longer. So I mean, any of these kind of ideas we can do would be cool. So yeah, maybe that might be the night after these all together beers. Maybe that's the next round of things we should do. But yeah, I'm gonna go eat dinner with my wife. Matt, thanks for hosting. Sean, always a pleasure. I'll see you guys later. All right.
Yep.
Cheers,
we'll see you, Kyle. And then we'll go through the comments real quick, and then I think we'll be done for the night too. Let's see. I don't think there's much, honestly. Yeah, that's it. I don't know if my
The last comment I have is from 714. So is that the last one you have?
No, I missed a bunch. It looks like, but it is what it is. Missed sign off.
Yeah, I guess I would say in the comments of the saved video, let us know what else you want to see.
Yep, chime in. Let us know what's what. So hopefully, you guys enjoyed this little all together hangout and stuff like that. We certainly did. If you guys aren't subscribed to Sean and Mike from Nerdsense, go check his channel out again with Kyle from the Hype Beer Reviews. If you don't know these guys and you subscribe to me, I don't understand why you're not subscribing to them. And, yeah, there you go. Plug yourself, Sean, or is that good enough?
That's good enough. Yeah,
there you go.
Check us out and also check Kyle out.
Yeah. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this little live stream. We'll do it again real soon. Hopefully you're enjoying some good beer right now. Hopefully you're contributing to the all together, whether it be through the actual beers, you're supporting local, you're doing whatever you can do in this time to actually, keep breweries afloat, keep restaurants afloat, keep local afloat. Hopefully you're going to boof some beers and maybe do like a shotgun of a brewery bottle and find Keith in a ditch somewhere and